Psalm 126 today, a short one, much loved, sometimes called a song of the redeemed. It's about the joy of knowing that you're God's people and that he has saved you and protected you and made you his own. And it has the lovely phrase, depending on which of many versions you're using, that our mouth was filled with laughter. That's not always our main experience as Christians. It's an interesting phrase to throw at us and challenge us with. There's a lovely, I think, Victorian analysis of this psalm and the practicality of what they call holy laughter, which I thought I would share with you. The recipe for holy laughter: 1, lie in prison a few weeks. 2, hear the Lord turning the key. 3, follow him into the high road. 4, your sky will burst with sunshine and your heart with song and laughter. 5, if this recipe is thought too expensive, try keeping in the high road to start with. Well, that's saying that the laughter comes about ultimately because the Lord saves us, and the Lord has to save us because we've gone off the rails and got lost. That's a slightly blunt way of putting it, but that's really the heart of this. Now, when the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. It's a good dream. It's not a nightmare at all. But why do the fortunes of Zion need restoring? Well, Zion, of course, is the mountain of Jerusalem. It symbolizes God's presence with his people. It symbolizes God's people in their worship of God. It symbolizes God's people together with him. And of course, Zion went through some difficult times in the Old Testament, a number of occasions when Jerusalem was in big trouble and when Zion certainly needed restoring. But this is not just about one particular period of Old Testament history. It's about the experience of the people of God, the experience of all believing people. And it's saying very, very straightforwardly, sometimes it gets rough. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's as if everything's dried up. And that sometimes that will be our own stupid fault, our own weakness or our own sin, leading us off that high road, off the path of joy and walking with the Lord. And sometimes there'll be circumstances, there'll be other things that aren't directly in our control that make it hard for us. But this is about when the Lord restores the fortunes of Zion, when it becomes okay again. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us and we rejoiced. So it's a generalized idea. When things are bad and the Lord restores, then they're good again, and it's good and it's full of laughter and joy. And then we can say, and we hope and pray that others will say, the Lord has blessed them. And so the prayer, because clearly this is going on during one of those difficult times. Restore our fortunes, O Lord. Like the watercourses in the Negev. The Negev or Negev is the desert area to the south, in the southern part of Israel, more or less, if you know Israel's geography, Hebron and south. Seriously desert area, but with streams, with little watercourses, which at the right time of year after the rains, all of a sudden, all that brown and dead, sandy, dry land, those little streams flow through it suddenly, and green sprouts everywhere. The watercourses in the Negev are the dry and apparently completely dead land being restored and filled with green and life. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like that. May those who sow in tears reap with shouts of joy. I mean, it's hard work sowing the crops. It can be very hard work tilling the soil and getting it all ready for the planting. It's hard work harvesting too, but it's work of joy because of fruitfulness As again, one of the historic preachers on this psalm says, this isn't just about faithfulness, it's about fruitfulness. Can we look at that for our own lives? Of course, our primary call is to be faithful to the Lord our God. But also there's a calling, isn't there, to be fruitful for him. May those who sow in tears reap with shouts of joy. Those who go out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, carrying their sheaves. What this psalm is saying is that sometimes life is hard. Sometimes Christian life is hard. All sorts of things. Coronavirus hadn't been thought of when this was written, but that doesn't matter. That's just one of our current pressures, and a big pressure. But there are all sorts of things that go on with or without the virus. There's the cycle of life and death and illness and success and failure and stuff going well and stuff going badly. And through all of that, there's the call to faithfulness. And above and beyond that, there's the call to fruitfulness. And the promise is, if it's hard, if it's tough, if we're shedding tears in the Lord's service, time will come when we'll be laughing and full of joy and the delight of seeing the Lord and his fruit and how he has blessed us. Take this psalm to heart for difficult times. I read it in good times too, and know that the Lord is there to bless you. Amen.